Most people learn English the same way they learned it in school. Slow, careful, silent. And that's exactly the problem. Because when you study English like a student, your brain behaves like a student. It waits, it checks, it looks for permission. But real speaking doesn't work like that. Adults don't speak by raising their hand in their head. They speak to survive conversations. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't freeze in English because you're bad at it. You freeze because you're still treating English like a subject. Students want correctness. Adults want results. And your brain knows the difference. When you were a student, mistakes were dangerous. Red marks, embarrassment, judgment. So your brain learned one rule: don't speak unless it's perfect. That rule might help you pass tests, but it destroys fluency. Now think about how adults speak in real life. They interrupt, they simplify, they change direction mid-sentence. They don't search for the best word. They use the first useful one. That's not bad English. That's functional English. And functional English is what gets jobs, friendships, and confidence. But here's what most learners do. They understand English podcasts. They watch English movies. They know grammar rules. Yet when it's time to speak, they suddenly feel small again. Why? Because their brain switches back to student mode. Student mode says, be careful, be correct, don't embarrass yourself. Adult mode says, say it, fix it later, keep moving. Fluency lives in adult mode. And the shift is not about learning more English. It's about changing how you use it. Let me show you the difference. Student English sounds like this. I am trying to think about the correct sentence structure before speaking. Adult English sounds like this. Let me say this simply. Same message, different energy. One is controlled by fear, the other by intention, and intention always wins. Here's the biggest mindset shift you need. Stop asking, is this correct English? Start asking, does this communicate my idea? If the answer is yes, speak. Because adults don't wait for perfect language. They let language catch up to them. That's why children and confident speakers sound fluent. They move forward and adjust on the way. Now, here's the technique that forces adult mode. Next time you want to speak, limit yourself. Give yourself only 3 seconds, not to think, to start. Whatever comes out, let it out. Short, simple, incomplete if needed. Your brain hates limits, but it loves speed. Speed shuts down fear, and once you start, momentum takes over. This is how adults speak, not with preparation, with movement. And when you move, English moves with you. If you keep studying English like a student, it will always feel heavy. But the moment you start using it like an adult, something changes. It stops being a test. It becomes a tool. And tools are meant to be used, not admired. Now we're going to activate adult mode together. No thinking ahead. No preparing sentences, just respond. First question, what do you want right now? Say it. Short is fine. Good. Next. What's one thing that annoys you today? Say it. Notice something important. You didn't search for grammar. You searched for meaning. That's adult mode. Now one more. Explain this in one simple line. Why are you learning English? Speak perfect, even if it wasn't perfect, because the goal wasn't correctness, it was communication. Here's the rule adults follow naturally. If the message lands, the language worked. Everything else is polishing, and polishing comes after movement. Most learners try to polish before moving. That's why they never leave the starting line. Now let me remove one more fear. Accent does not make you sound childish. Hesitation does. Native speakers don't care how you sound. They care if you respond. Fast responses feel confident, even with mistakes. Slow, perfect sentences feel unsure. So choose fast, choose imperfect, choose adult. Here's a daily adult speaking reset you can use anytime. Before speaking, say quietly, I'll fix it after. This single sentence gives your brain permission to speak, because the brain loves plans. And now it knows. Mistakes aren't permanent, they're temporary. Now listen carefully. Fluency is not built by sounding smart. It's built by sounding willing. Willing to try. Willing to adjust. Willing to continue. That's why adults who move to a new country improve faster than students in classrooms. They don't have time to study. They have to function. And function creates fluency. If English still feels heavy sometimes, that's normal. It just means your student habit is still strong. But now you know how to switch modes. 3 seconds. One idea. Move forward. Do this daily, even alone. And one day, you'll notice something surprising. You'll stop asking, can I say this? And start saying it. That's when you know you're no longer studying English. You're using it. This is FluentEcho English. I'm Alex. Speak like an adult. Now, I want you to notice something about yourself. When you speak your native language, you don't plan sentences. You don't think about grammar. You don't wait for confidence. You speak because you have something to say. That's adult communication. So the real question is not, how do I speak English better? It's, how do I give myself permission to speak? Because permission comes before fluency. Most learners wait for confidence. But confidence comes after action, never before. Think about this. Have you ever spoken English and then thought, oh, that wasn't as bad as I expected? That moment matters. That's your brain updating its belief. English is not dangerous. Every time you avoid speaking, the opposite belief grows. So we flip the pattern. Small speaking, low pressure, high frequency. That's how adult brains learn. Here's another shift you need to make. Stop practicing English only in English time. Adult speakers use English inside real life, while walking, while thinking, while reacting. You don't say, "Now I will practice English." You say, "I'll react in English." For example, right now, quietly say, "Still listening, interesting." This makes sense. These tiny reactions matter. They turn English from a subject into a background skill, and background skills feel easy. That's why driving feels automatic now, even if it felt hard at first. Speaking English works the same way. Repetition inside real moments, not study sessions. Now, let me be very honest with you. You will never feel 100% ready. Even fluent speakers feel unsure sometimes. The difference is, they speak anyway. They don't negotiate with their fear. They move through it. That's adult behavior. So, from today, use this rule. If you understand the situation, you can speak. Not perfectly, not fully, but enough. Enough to move the conversation forward. Enough to stay present. Enough to grow. And every time you do that, English feels a little lighter, a little less scary, a little more yours. The simple daily routine that locks adult mode in place. This takes less than 5 minutes. No notebook, no preparation. Step 1. Choose one moment in your day, just one. Walking to work, making coffee, sitting quietly. That's your English moment. Step 2. React to what's happening using short English, not sentences. Feeling tired? Say them quietly or in your head, but clearly. Step 3. Move on. No correcting, no repeating. This teaches your brain one powerful lesson. English is normal, not special, not scary, not a performance, just part of life. And when English becomes normal, it becomes easy. Now remember this. You don't need to stop studying completely. Grammar has its place. But grammar is Polish. Speaking is movement. And movement always comes first. If you've been studying English for years, but still feel stuck, it's not because you failed. It's because no one taught you to switch modes. Student mode helped you understand. Adult mode will help you speak. From today, stop asking for permission. Stop waiting to feel confident. Speak first. Adjust later. That's how real communication works. And that's how English stops feeling heavy. If this video helped you see English differently, stay here. This is FluentEcho English, where we train your brain to speak, not just study. I'm Alex, and remember, don't study English like a student. Use it like an adult.